If white immigrants can come to this country 50 years ago with nickels and dimes and no education, and come here and pool their little nickels and dimes and no education, and set up little stores, develop these stores into larger stores, develop this into an industry which creates job opportunities for whites. Since Lincoln was supposed to have freed the black man 100 years ago, and today the black man, according to the government economist, has spending power of $20 billion per year. We feel that with the black man spending $20 billion a year, not setting up any businesses, not creating any industry, not creating any job opportunities for his own kind, he's not in a moral position to point the finger today at the white man and tell the white man that he's discriminating against him for not giving him a job in factories that he himself set up. If the black man has $20 billion, and these so-called Negro leaders are such geniuses that they can integrate white restaurants and integrate white factories and force themselves into that which the white man has set up, they should use this same ingenuity to show the black people how to pool our wealth and set up something of our own. And then we won't have to force our way into his anymore. One more thing I would like to point out concerning what he said about 125th Street. We don't waste our time on 125th Street, but you can reach more people in the street who want to change than you can in the bourgeoisie society, the bourgeoisie church, and the bourgeoisie circles. Our program is directed toward the man in the street. So we spend our time in the street, and what we do with that man, instead of trying to change the white man in your mind and make you accept us, we change the mind of the black man and make him accept himself. And as soon as he accepts himself, he'll solve his own problem. He won't be trying to force himself into your factory and into your bedroom and into your kitchen.
Don't make the mistake that most of your mothers and fathers made. When I wake up in the morning, my prayers, and I thank God I woke up, the Ku Klux Klan woke up this morning. The drug pushers woke up this morning. I thank God that I made another 24 hours in the most vicious, nasty, hateful, insane nation that's ever existed with my wits, without hating, without being bitter, without being mean. And I thank God that I survived 24 hours in that type of atmosphere with the type of amusement and friendliness. And so I would say to young folks, don't be in a state of denial of the racism and sexism, but don't let that block you. Don't teach your children that you have to be twice as good as a white. That's an awful thing to teach your child. Mm-hmm. That's like saying because you're black, white America has a right to change your dollar for 94 cents. But we used to get 50 cents, and before that we used to get nothing. Young folks have to say, we don't want more change for $1. Excuse me, we want a full dollar's change for $1, or this cash register will never ring again.
Yes.
I would also like for young blacks to understand that about 83% of all employment happen with small businesses. And excuse me, if you don't have a small business, then you have nobody to work for you. And I would say to young blacks, get into entrepreneurship. We will never catch up with white America till we get into business, because there's a thing called tax write-offs. And if you have a job and come together, 10 of you, and open up a corporation and have somebody run it, you hire somebody to run it, but you have tax write-offs. 98% of people that fly first class on airplanes would not be there if that wasn't a write-off. And yet, on that first class, they gave away last year $800 million, almost $1 billion of free whiskey. But if a welfare mother asked for some apple juice for the baby, she's laughed at. And so I would say entrepreneurship, and then understand that we will never survive as a group until we get into communities and not neighborhoods. A community is I control the police, the banks, the schools, the firefighters, and I control the flow of the money. And I have no problem when I go in a Jewish neighborhood and the shop owners are Jewish, and I go into an Italian neighborhood and shop owners are Italian. I have a problem when I come in a black neighborhood and the shop owners is not me. A Korean has a right to come in and buy my shop for $30 million more than it's worth. That's good business. But if we decide that we're not going to do business with that boy, then he'll have to sell it back, or she'll sell it back to a black person for $1 million. Yes. And then the money circulates, and that's how you change. We've been so busy dealing with the hurt and the pain and the misery and glamorizing a hand few that have made it, that we have never really looked at, like they say, your role model. If you haven't got a role model in your house, you should fall on your knees and pray to God, because something is wrong. Yes. And so I would say to young folks, it's not about alcohol, but it's hard for me to say that to you when a 5-year-old got to reach past mama's beer and papa's wine to get some mayonnaise. I would also say to young folks that the number one drug that will wipe you out is not cocaine, it's not heroin, it's marijuana. And they deliberately make that a recreation drug, but it stays in the muscles, it stays in the blood, and it will wipe out your memory bank. And also, this is the first time in the history of TB that TB has always been known as poor folks. It's the first time that TB is not running rampant in the ghetto. It's running rampant in middle income white America, because it's the marijuana that they spray, and that's no accident. And so I would just say to young folks, you have to reevaluate everything you've been taught. I would say to the black folks that just because a black person is 90 years old don't mean they have wisdom, and you need to listen to them, because if you was dumb and stupid when you was 9, you dumb and stupid when you 90.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another live broadcast. Shouts out to you, Raw. What's going on, Matron, the Learning Curve Revolutionary Matron? I appreciate y'all for coming on here. I had to come on here tonight because and my bad to my brother Guy, but I kind of had to come on here and say something, and me, I can't let y'all just chill and watch the game in peace, you know what I'm saying? So you're gonna have to be uncomfortable tonight while you watch it, you know what I'm saying? So well, we'll see who shows up, or what people is about. But what's going on, my brother Rashid? I already know my brother Rashid is solid. That's my brother. Shouts out to my brother Rashid, and so yeah, first and foremost though, for like the water crisis thing, like the campaign is still open, I'm like, everybody who, was involved that hit me back said keep going. So I'm gonna keep trying to do that, But also my brother, what I'm saying, gave me some great advice, and maybe there are some greater things that, we could do, and one thing that I would need, and I'll say it again, but it's somebody who knows how to like make web pages or something like that, so if you are willing to help me with that, and you know how to make web pages, so just hit me up. The email is in the chat, and hopefully we can do more than help just one person, but anyway, if it's worth a try anyway. But I just want to let everybody know what's up with that. And also, if you have any suggestions or anything, feel free, anybody's welcome to do anything. But yeah, just to get into it though. Speaking of, I gotta, mess with y'all tonight because I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all thought y'all was just gonna be comfortable, watching the game. And my brother D Webb ain't come on tonight, so and then also I ain't mean to cut my brother Guy or whatever. So shouts out to them. Yeah, facts, Raw. So shouts out to them. Make sure you subscribe to both of their channels, Guy and the Harsh Reality Podcast. I'm gonna put them in the chat later. But speaking of that, what I'm saying, let's talk about, what I'm saying, while we celebrating the football leagues, why? Because I thought we were supposed to be, I guess the boycott was over. I don't know which year it was over. And I get some of y'all may not have a problem with certain things, but the last I thought, we wasn't watching football no more. So I guess it's just me at this point, But speaking of that, I'm gonna just go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Anybody who want to come on, y'all definitely can come on. So yeah, and while I'm sharing it, I can't see, but if you say you in the back, in the chat or something, I'll know. But I'm just letting you know I can't see while I'm sharing the screen. So let me go ahead and start then. All right, so speaking of the NFL, in celebration, let's talk about, the black former players, the NFL players speak out against race-based concussion damage assessments. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what they're talking about with this one.
Stop.
You heard that?
Yes, we all did.
This is the morning routine for former NFL defensive lineman Kevin Henry, crippled with pain from his time
What up, my brother K. Shaw? Definitely a real one in the building.
Playing in the league.
My wife usually wakes me up. Then when I wake up, usually throbbing, so she'll massage me for about an hour. Sometimes I stumble or I may even fall.
Henry and his wife Pam say life has become a constant struggle, marked by depression, memory loss, and bouts of anger. All symptoms associated with dementia-related illnesses, which Henry believes stem from repeated blows to the head.
Football doesn't give you an expiration date. You just expire. Both ankles, both knees, both elbows, both wrists, all my fingers have been broken. I've had 10 concussions or more. I've had at least 17 surgeries. 17. And I'm still getting them.
Did you feel like you had some sort of impairment from playing football?
Yeah. I'm not myself, Ryan. I'm not myself.
Henry was further devastated after his claim for compensation through the NFL's Concussion Settlement program was denied. Now, for the first time on camera with ABC News, Henry and another former player, Najee Davenport, are talking about their lawsuit, accusing the NFL of avoiding paying head injury claims based on a formula that discriminates on race. That formula assumes that black players start at a lower cognitive level than white players.
Wait, now that's the first time I'm gonna stop right here. So it sounds like some German scientists made this thing or something. So they discriminate based off race because, of course, black people have lower IQs to start off with.
It's on race. That formula assumes that black players start at a lower cognitive level than white players. Critics say the practice, widely known as race norming, makes it harder for black players.
It's called race norming. Now, I can tell you what some race norming stuff would be, but I'm going to just let it play.
Race norming makes it harder for black players to qualify for compensation. The league calls the lawsuit entirely misguided.
I just want to be looked at to.
Yo, facts, bro. I already know you. I ain't, because I don't even have to ask you the question of what's up, But a lot of people, we do got to, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Same way as a white guy. We bust chops together, bruh. It wasn't no white or black thing.
Oh, wait a minute.
Same way as a white guy.
At a low for compensation. The league calls the lawsuit entirely misguided.
I just want to be looked at the same way as a white.
So first of all, the league telling them, they're too stupid to even know they're being, treated fairly. It's entirely misguided. Your low IQ won't allow you to understand why you won't get as much as, these good old, white boys.
I just want to be looked at the same way as a white guy. We bust.
Hold on, what?
Same way as a white guy.
Entirely.
I just want to be looked at the same way as a white guy.
I thought that's what he said. And I will never make that statement. I want to be looked at as who I am. You know what I'm saying?
We bust chops together, bruh. It wasn't no white or black thing. We lost together, we won together.
For Henry, growing up in small town Mississippi, the NFL was his ticket to success.
Now, it is interesting, right, in sports, right? Because when you play in sports, like the goal is to score a point, to win, to stop the other team from scoring. And you don't care who that person is, where they're from, their whatever. All you care about is their effectiveness, their ability to do their job, and you understand that they're on your team, even in the middle of a game, right? We may fight in practice or whatever, we might go to the locker room and fight at halftime, but during the game is important to be, because we see, players fight on the sideline all the time, and it's usually when they're getting blown out, so.
After attending Mississippi State University, he was drafted in
Amani Mangu, my brother, or my Ndangu.
For Henry, growing up in small town Mississippi, the NFL was his ticket to success. After attending Mississippi State University, he was drafted in 1993 by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
What was it like to play in the NFL?
It was hard, man. I ain't gonna even lie. It was easier to get there than to stay there. You have to do whatever it takes to stay healthy and stay on that field.
Even Henry.
It is harder to get there, or it's easy to get there. It's not. So that's not relevant to us. It's super difficult to get there, and this probably is easy to get there. This is probably the easy part. And the key is doing whatever it takes to stay on that field, you know what I'm saying? Or at least to make a difference and to make the team win, you know what I'm saying?
In there for the injured Ray Seals. That's a good clean hit.
Henry played for 8 seasons, making 14 career sacks, even going on to play in Super Bowl 30. But at the age of 33, the bright lights of the stadium and the roar of the crowds came to an end.
I don't know who he is particularly. It said his name, but I don't really remember him.
And like many other former players, Henry struggled in retirement, battling what he suspected were the long-term effects of the concussions he sustained on the field.
I get a lot of headaches. Every morning I have a headache. It's just a number of things, man, that a player goes through, man. After football, life after football is not fun. It's not fun.
Who wants to live like that? It's horrible. It's just sad to see. It just breaks my heart. It really does.
He got a black wife too, y'all. He got a black wife. An NFL player with a black wife, a black family, So, and I probably shouldn't have to stop to say that, but the fact that I do, what I'm saying, shows that we down by 50 at halftime.
Unable to work and concerned about his family's financial future, Henry and his wife turned to the landmark 2013 NFL Concussion Settlement Program, which paid eligible former NFL players suffering from the lingering effects of multiple head injuries. In 2017, Henry went in to get a battery of tests to measure his cognitive functioning, assessing language, learning, and memory.
This doctor said that he believes that there is something going on and he was going to turn the report in. He was saying in so many words, there is something wrong.
A doctor determined that Henry was suffering from a cognitive decline consistent with mild dementia, and as part of the process, submitted a claim to a settlement administrator. What was the result of the claim you filed?
I was denied.
The administrator rejected Henry's claim, questioning whether his performance on the tests were valid and asserting that the doctor, quote, used inappropriate norms. Henry's doctor did not use that race norming adjustment.
Now, see, now this goes into the medical field here, you know what I'm saying? Because like I'll say again, you know what I'm saying, the doctors are to black women what the police are to black men, you know what I'm saying? But they are also the same thing to us, just like the police are just like that to black women. You understand what I'm trying to say? So, but they're trying to tell him that they denied it because they didn't do this quote unquote race norming thing where they assume that his intelligence is less than the white player. And so they just denied him on that fact. Although, you know, I'm pretty sure he understands what pain is. You know, doctors who probably isn't black, you know, telling him that he's suffering from dementia from all of the hits that he's taken over all of these years. But this spills into the medical field and all of that because they tell you you don't feel pain. You know what I'm saying? You don't understand. You're too dumb to know that you don't feel pain. That sensation that you're feeling, you're too dumb to understand that that's not pain. It's pretty much what they're trying to tell us.
We're asked to function in our daily lives like normal human beings without
Yeah, I feel you, Bakari. I can't be mad at that.
any disruption and not be compensated for it.
2 years later, Henry says with his health worsening, he went in for another evaluation with a neuropsychologist. This clinician used that NFL recommended formula that took into account, among other things, Henry's race.
Yeah, so they pretty much hit him with the, you know, the German scientists from like the 1800s philosophy. Oh yeah, I forgot though. They took a knee, right? So it's okay. They allowed kneeling now, so we're good.
And this time, the neuropsychologist found that Henry didn't qualify at all.
Every time the ball is snapped, it's a car crash for me. And there's no white black thing in that. They don't hit me less because I'm black or harder because I'm black. It's the same thing.
And that is very true. It's not less because he's black or white or whatever when it comes to sports. But then when he steps off that field, he's going to get hit 10 times harder because he's black. Right? Oh, yeah, I forgot. We're too dumb to understand that according to the NFL. Right? That's the problem. See, if you're going to be willing to sacrifice your body to the point of dementia and can't feel it no more, you know what I'm saying? It might have been something that is worth taking the crash over. Or at least control the thing that you're taking the crash over constantly, you know, play after play for 30 years.
The NFL's confidential manual on the Concussion Settlement program recommends clinicians adjust test scores for factors like age, gender, education, and race. The so-called full demographic correction. It's a controversial practice known as race norming. In medicine, it's supposed to help doctors make better diagnoses.
And in medicine and the medical field, right, quote unquote, race norming, this thing that does not exist, which is a social construct, has actual doctors, right, not taking, you know, our mother's blood pressure properly or not giving them the right treatment or not allowing them into their thing because they missed the appointment 5 years ago. These same people, right, is telling us, you know, based off their assessment, you know what I'm saying? We just too dumb to understand that we hurt.
By using race to make assumptions about a patient's background.
Race is just a bad proxy to use. It's too crude, it's too ill-defined, and it also has this history of being used for very abominable ends. I think we're in a period today where everyone is being called to take account.
Yeah, Bakari, I don't think they're telling people not to go to medical school, though. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say they're telling people not to go to medical school, not to be doctors. And by the way, you know, you're a black person that want to go to a black doctor, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't encourage that. Like, yo, treat who comes to your office. If you feel like the white man's ice is colder, then fine. Or Arab's ice is colder. I can't make, you know, somebody I love go to a black dentist or nothing. You know what I'm saying? but I can go.
Of racism and to turn their practices into anti-racist practices. And so there's a reckoning in all professions, I think, and disciplines.
The NFL defends using the practice, saying it helps clinicians estimate how much damage has been done to a player's brain during their careers. The league says these adjustments, quote, were developed to correct rather than perpetrate racial bias in neuropsychological tests. How did you?
Right, and I don't think this brother would say that either though, because especially like these players in these positions and stuff like that, you know, and they're saying we're developed to correct rather than perpetuate racial bias in the test, and they're telling them what they said.
Logical tests. How did you react when you learned that there was a different standard being used for black players to get benefits as compared to white players?
I felt so betrayed, and I still feel that way. Two different systems? How can that be okay? White people should be upset too. Not just me, not just black people, because if the shoe was on the other foot, you wouldn't like it.
The NFL points out the settlement was, quote, agreed to by all parties with the assistance of expert neuropsychological clinicians, and it relies on widely accepted and long established testing and scoring methods. But critics say,
yeah, back to Germany, 1800s.
The use of race norming in the NFL settlement is neither necessary nor fair.
I did think that this was an especially egregious form of race correction because it plays on the idea that black people are naturally less intelligent than other people.
Do you think that you suffered cognitive impairment or cognitive decline as a result of playing football?
Yeah.
Najee Davenport is a co-plaintiff with Henry in his lawsuit against the NFL. Davenport, a former NFL running back, played 7 seasons, mostly for the Green Bay Packers, before retiring in 2008.
Now, let me say this, right? Back when my days, when I watched it, this was my team, you know what I'm saying? I like this player here, you know what I'm saying, in particular. And, you know, but, you know, it's how, you're not performing. So, you know, we go back to the backup, you know what I'm saying? Like now, how unaware was I, you know what I'm saying, and what I was doing? Oh, well, I'm sorry. We can take a knee now, so it's cool.
When he was 29 years old.
After the NFL, you were
MG2, what's up, my brother?
Experiencing some memory loss and had some anger issues. How had you changed from when you were playing in the NFL to after?
I was never like a quick fighter. I think I was more like a happy-go-lucky guy. I was getting in trouble or getting in fights or getting in confrontations.
When Davenport learned there might be money available for...
I think it's a black wife. Bakari would call her black, so I'm going to give her a black wife.
For treatment, he sought the help of Dr. Charles Golden, another neuropsychologist working with the NFL. Dr. Golden says he did not use the race-based demographic correction.
Was your understanding that the correction was required or that it was recommended?
No, it was.
Yo, what up, guy? What up, guy? My bad for I know you had to. I was checking, yeah, yo, I had to play this. You know, I can't let them watch the game in peace tonight. You know what I'm saying? But I know most of them probably is anyway. But that's why I came on here tonight. You know, just so I can say I did it. You know.
At least when they talked to me, it was clearly just recommended. When I was hired to do this, I asked them, I said, do I have to use a certain set of norms? And they said, basically, no, you have a choice, and it's up to your clinical decision.
In your expert opinion, does Najee suffer from
quote-unquote expert opinion
cognitive impairment?
Yes.
Now, Bakar, he went to medical school now. I'm questioning his stuff now. You see what I'm saying?
And it's up to your clinical decision.
In your expert opinion, does Najee suffer from cognitive impairment?
Yes, he does. He qualified at level 1.5. It impairs his ability to concentrate, to think. It impairs his social ability to interact with other people. And that has the secondary effect of leading to things like irritability and anger and depression.
The settlement administrator approved Dr. Golden's conclusions, but the league appealed.
They said,
Damn, so they was like, damn, hey, I don't care he went to no damn medical school. You know what I'm saying? We're going to appeal that.
Approved Dr. Golden's conclusions, but the league appealed.
They said, why didn't you use the black norms? And I wrote back, basically, I didn't use the black norms because I thought it was unfair to apply one set of norms to one of the player groups and another set of norms to another group of players.
In response to questions from ABC News, the NFL said that it does not play a role in independent clinicians' examinations, and the league does not require clinicians to adjust for race. And any corrections are left up to the sound discretion of the clinicians. Golden says he did use his professional discretion, but was rejected anyway. Still, he believes he did the right thing.
I wouldn't cheat on the criteria that they had. We followed them.
The NFL said in its appeal, quote, Davenport's functional impairment may be the result of factors other than cognitive loss, and claimed that Dr. Golden calculated Davenport's test scores with improper demographic norm adjustments.
That's literally the definition of systematic racism with this race norm and stuff.
Damn.
I don't know if it was intentional, but I think there were people who were aware, likely, that if you use the black norms, black players would be less likely to qualify. I think they would justify that in their defense, that they would argue that those were more accurate scores. In my view, the brain functions the same in all of us.
In raising his concerns about the...
Well, yeah, they questioned him on that for sure. I don't know what school he went to. He could have went to a HBCU for all we know. Learning Curve said the same characteristics that they praised Mike Tyson for are the characteristics they use to exploit black football players. Yo, that's a fact. And not only black football players, but young black children, young black boys, right? Because, you know, our boys are like 27 in their minds, even though and it's ironic because, like, you know, a 19-year-old looks to them is like, it looks like they're 37 or something. But they think our kids, you know, a 5-year-old is 42. Like, they use these same characteristics, that aggression stuff, that low IQ stuff, and health. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, the medical field and education and everything across the board, you know what I'm saying? Because that's just how they do it. But, you know, if you are willing to sacrifice your body, blood, sweat, tears for a team, you know what I'm saying? Like, at least, you know what I'm saying? Try to, I don't know. Because, you know, it was a time where we could do our own thing. All right, hold on 1 second, y'all. Now, I know most of us, you know what I'm saying, probably won't come on because you probably hear the game going in the background. And this guy, I'm not judging nobody, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, right? Because there's many ways you can go here. This is a team sport, you know what I'm saying? These people will put their life, their body, all of that on the line. And they are telling you that for a owner, right? Your owner who pays you $40 million, you know what I'm saying, to be a slave. And as soon as you're done, as soon as you hurt your leg, you break your arm, they release you. And it's no different from, you know, if I go to work and get into a car accident tomorrow and then I'm going to lose my job and they're going to do everything they can not to, you know what I'm saying, do what they're supposed to do. It's no different. They're just making $40 million. But see, like the other brother who we showed last time, invested his money back into the community, and tried to build a medical facility. He got his he became a doctor. Then you got other brothers who use their money, their platform and resources to explain to people, you know what I'm saying, that racism is on the left. Yeah, he did. He came back a couple times, and then he ended up retiring, but he came back to the league, But yes, he left the league, But there's no surprise when you don't have ownership, when you don't control the things that you control, you know what I'm saying, in any area. So while we on the topic of sports, you know what I'm saying, we could talk about other sports too, you know what I'm saying. We can go into baseball, recognizing the records and the legacy of the Negro Leagues in baseball, right? Because the Negro Leagues were, right, and let me tell you this, right? In baseball, there was black players in the 1800s, but then they banned it in like the 1880s or something like that. And so in response, black teams started popping up all over the place. And so let me just play it.
With spring training just around the corner, we're taking a closer look at major change by Major League Baseball, which announced in December that it would finally include the records and statistics of the 7 Negro Leagues that played in the early 20th century as part of MLB's statistical history. A new project by our partners at 538 shed some light on some of the former Negro League players who will now be Major League statistical stars. Victor Akendo has this story.
For more than a century, professional baseball has given fans countless memorable moments and players. Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak, Ted Williams batting .406 for a season.
He hit that one into the next county.
Hank Aaron breaking Babe Ruth's home run record.
Now think about that, right? He did that in the 70s, and black players couldn't come in until the 40s, and then really in the 50s. So it only took 20 years. The greatest player, Babe Ruth, you know what I'm saying? And easily broken, right? It was in a few years, a record that would have stood for 100 years until they let black players in, and then like a few years later, it's shattered.
But until recently, that long history hasn't told the whole story. Black baseball players were left out of the major leagues in the early 20th century, so they organized their own teams. In 1920, Andrew Rube Foster gathered other team owners and formed the Negro National League, the first organized league for black baseball players, later joined by the Negro American League and other regional leagues. Legendary players like Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, Oscar Charleston, and Cool Papa Bell helped the Negro Leagues maintain its popularity and would themselves become Baseball Hall of Famers. But 1947 marked a turning point when Jackie Robinson appeared in a Major League Baseball game as a member of the Brooklyn Dodgers, breaking the league's color barrier. Soon, more black baseball players would join the newly integrated MLB, leading to the decline and eventual end of the Negro Leagues.
Now, this is no disrespect to any of the ancestors. This is a learning moment, you know what I'm saying? And Satchel Paige could have probably been was probably arguably the greatest pitcher of all time, right? Josh Gibson was, like most people would probably say, is the best hitter of all time, right? But Satchel Paige, his dream, no matter how many people came to their games, no matter how many people wanted to see them and rather spend money on them, his dream was to, just from the way they portray it, it may not have been true, but from the way they portray it, his dream was to play in the Major League Baseball and MLB, the white leagues. And a lot of them got mad at Jackie Robinson. I don't know if this is true, but y'all can correct me if it's not true. But a lot of them got mad at Jackie Robinson because they chose him. And Jackie Robinson, even though he ended up being like one of the best players in the MLB because of obvious reasons, he was an all-star, but just a good player. And there was a lot of players better than him. You know what I'm saying? So but the goal was to, get out of their leagues and to make it to this other league, which is boring, plain, and even their fans wanted to come to see y'all, which is why they start adding black players, because it was way better. But I don't know. It's like we don't have faith and hope into that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I understand, like, we had a conversation before, and some people like, oh, we would eventually merge and integrate. I don't know. Maybe not. Because they could have and would have produced so much revenue based off just black fans alone. You know what I'm saying? And this is no different from the illusion of inclusion when it comes to education, Brown versus Board of Education and all of that. It's just sports was way before that, because that's what sports is. They just care about winning, and guess who happened to be the best players?
And for decades, all that had been accomplished in the Negro Leagues would not be considered Major League. But this past December, Major League Baseball announced that the Negro Leagues would finally be given Major League status, along with their statistics and records. Now, Negro Leagues pitching great Satchel Paige will have his accomplishments added to those from his MLB career. And one change is likely coming to the record books. Former catcher Josh Gibson will have baseball's best single-season batting average, hitting .441 in 1943. At long last, this major omission corrected, a major change for the major leagues. For ABC News.
Now, this was baseball, right? Now, Bill Russell came in, and probably the most racist, well, I can't say that, Alabama, Florida, Ohio, California, all of them is the most racist city, but in Boston, came in and became a player coach and then started dominating. You know what I'm saying? If you go back and watch Will Chamberlain and all of this. Now, this is baseball. Imagine something like basketball, right? Imagine the Negro Leagues basketball league, you know what I'm saying? But, when it comes to the Negro Leagues, you know what I'm saying, they had something that was great. Oh, actually, I didn't mean to stop doing that. They had something, you know what I'm saying, that was great. The revenue that you make, you control your own aspects, you know what I'm saying? You have the best players. Who doesn't want to see the best players and the best teams? And you already know, like, we have a certain kind of swag that other people just don't have. You know what I'm saying? They hate us because they ain't us. And you see that when you adjust for the records, which is why they never wanted to do that. A lot of their beloved heroes would have probably got kicked out the league. They would have never made it in the first place. And see, in this time, there was no illusion of inclusion. You know that you could go to a black grocery store at this time and go to, a black movie theater or something like that. Right? That's the whole difference, right? And controlling the revenue that you make, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I can kneel if I want to. But it's the having faith in ourselves that, you know what I'm saying, is a little alarming, because it's not the majority, though. It's just the people in key roles, But even in sports, you know what I'm saying, even some of our greatest sports players in baseball, wanted to be a part of other people's league, And the Negro Leagues was something so powerful, and it grew so quick. And matter of fact, let me play some of what he was saying.
So they gave us game. The very concept of game, it hits hard right to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum.
As we sit here on the field of legends with this amazing all-star team, it is fitting that this piece of African-American and American sports history would be included in this kind of promotion because of the way that they played the game. They brought a different style of play that was electrifying. It was show-stopping. fans wanted to see it. And these weren't just black fans. These were fans of all races, creeds, colors coming out to watch these games. And honestly, they were watching what many thought to be the best baseball being played in this country. Without question, the most entertaining brand of baseball. As my friend Buck O'Neill would say, you couldn't go to the concession stands because you might miss something that you ain't never seen before. They brought a level of excitement to this game that honestly.
Now imagine a bunch of Ken Griffey Jr.'s running around, and Ken Griffey Jr. is like the 10th best player on the team. That's crazy.
Honestly, I think our game sorely misses to this day.
The Negro Leagues are born of exclusion and segregation.
Like Ozzie Smith would have been like third string. Now I ain't gonna disrespect that, but you know.
And otherism. But as you taught me many years ago, there is an uplifting aspect of this as well. And it's about empowerment.
I remind our visitors, because I think a lot of people, when they come to visit the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, Todd, they think that they're going to be introduced to a very sad, somber kind of story. Because the story is obviously related and is propped.
Because why would you want to have Negro Leagues? It's got to be sad, obviously.
Against the backdrop of American segregation. A horrible chapter.
Oh, hold on. My bad, y'all. Yo, what up, Bakari?
What's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Yo, you are low.
How about now? Is that any better?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, what's going on? What's up, everybody in the chat? Look, man, let me learn you right quick, man. No, but for real though, when we talk about these Negro League players, man, we got to talk about their greatness. When you say Satchel Paige probably would have been the best, man, you got to go ahead and tell people at age 43, that's what they say, they think he might have been older than that. He won the Rookie of the Year. So just imagine if he was pitching.
No, I'm not comparing them to the white players though.
No. But I'm just saying because they did go to the major league. So I'm gonna do that comparison. He probably just imagine he won Rookie of the Year at age 43 years old. I think he pitched till he was like 48 years old in the major leagues. In what they call the major leagues now. Then when you talk about Josh Gibson, right? You notice they said Josh Gibson gonna have the record for the highest batting average in one season, right? But you know what they did? But you know what they didn't say? Because they put an asterisk next to Barry Bonds, right? Why didn't they say he gonna have a home run record over 800 home runs? But you know what they do when they talk about Barry Bonds? I mean, not Barry Bonds. When you talk about Josh Gibson home runs, all of a sudden they want to go to Japan and talk about the Japs. Oh, Sada Hade, he hit 880. You never counted them before. But when you talk about Josh Gibson, they want to talk about Sada Hade. Josh Gibson might be the greatest home run. So he's the only player ever in the history playing in Yankee Stadium. He's the only one that ever knocked the ball out of the stadium. He's the only one that ever did that. He knocked the ball out of the stadium. First time ever. Only time ever. It was done once by Josh Gibson. So when we talk about it, yeah, you got to compare it to them because they end up going there. Well, Josh Gibson didn't think he died young, but yeah, you go ahead. It's okay. Go ahead. You got to compare it to them because that's what they ended up going.
No, but I'm saying when I say probably the best pitcher, I'm not comparing them though, because he's definitely. If I compare him, then I'll be like, yeah, he definitely. But I'm saying like, yo, that's how nice the Negro Leagues was. It was competition, bro. Like Josh Gibson, like it's hard to argue because even everybody back then said it. Everybody said Satchel Paige too, but you know what I'm saying? Other people would be like, yo, this pitcher was also like crazy. You know what I'm saying? It was just so many players in the Negro Leagues, bro. Like that's why I keep saying like, you know, is a you know.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. So I talk about what they did. And yeah, they were a little upset, but I don't think they were upset with Jackie Robinson. They were upset that Jackie Robinson was nowhere near the best player in the Negro Leagues, and he got chosen. But Jackie Robinson got chosen because he knew how to deal with what was coming his way. you know, he was an officer in the military. You understand? So he knew how to deal with it. They needed someone who was gonna not necessarily bow down, but not gonna be vocal and fighting to prove that they just better. See, Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson wanted to prove that they were way better. See, they weren't trying to play in the major leagues to play in the major leagues. They want to prove just to be in the major leagues to show they was good enough. No, they were playing to prove that they were better. And all you have to do is look up the scrimmages when they played against one another. And Negro League All-Stars beat Major League All-Stars more than the Major League All-Stars beat them. But see, that's why they were playing. But that's why they chose Jackie Robinson.
Yeah. But
because
that's my
Jackie Robinson didn't want to prove that he was just better.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But that's my point, though. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't have to prove. Like Jackie Robinson was the best. Like came in and was the best player. Was nowhere near the best player in their leagues. Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like because in education later on, we was like, yo, we got to go to their things to get their kind of connects. And I know that's not what you're saying. What they did. But yo, to prove that you're better, like you are better, like they couldn't see you, like they couldn't come to the Negro Leagues and shine, you know what I'm saying? But you can go to their leagues and be the best player, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, the art of protecting ourselves, we don't have to prove ourselves or like, you know what I'm saying? Like I understand what I can't, I'm not judging them about that. I'm just saying, like, as a learning lesson going forward, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, our leagues are better, you know what I'm saying? But that was detrimental, you know what I'm saying? Like leaving our leagues, you know what I'm saying? Like because Satchel Paige was like a rock star in the Negro Leagues, you know what I'm saying? Everywhere he went, it was packed stadiums. Josh Gibson, packed stadiums, you know what I'm saying? Like people just like want to tell stories about watching them play. And so they not saying like, you know, and then of course like Babe Ruth got debunked so easily, you know what I'm saying? Once they let black players in, you know what I'm saying? With that Asian dude, right? Was he in the all Asian league?
Yeah, he was playing in Japan. He wasn't playing over here. He was playing in Japan when they started screaming Sada Hada O. Sada Hada O, the greatest home run hit of all times. And the only reason they would say that was because black people would mention and start talking about Josh Gibson. And that was a problem. So anybody, any of their Neanderthal cousins could be the best. Just a homo, just a black man. Now, African man could not be considered the best. Yes, Satchel Paige was a rock star. He was such a star. Shit, them damn white folks, Babe Ruth wanted to play against him to see if he could hit off him. So yes, he was a star.
I would have hit him with the pitch too.
Well, he wanted to. Yeah, it makes sense. But they were trying to prove they were better. Yeah, that's what they were trying to do. Prove they were better.
MD2 said, I saw a video of the culpability of the demise of the Negro Leagues, and much of it was the support teams and not the players. Black agents, scouts promote, and also writers, you know, like because all the whole field, you know what I'm saying, that comes with it, because you know they had Negro writers and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying. I'm only saying Negro writers because we in the time, but you know, like they wanted to prove themselves that they could write for white magazines, you know what I'm saying, like that they are as eloquent and they can do is all of that stuff, you know what I'm saying. Like they was the main ones pushing for this Jackie Robinson thing and trying to write all the great stories so they could be like, yo, don't embarrass the Negro race in front of these great white folks on their field while the dude standing there calling you all kind of names in the book, talking about doing all kind of stuff to you, fans talking about lynching you and stuff like that, but you better not get mad or whatever. Like, you know, my bad. Go. You got something to say though, because I was gonna finish that video.
Oh, go ahead. You can finish it. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's just talking about like positive stuff about the Negro Leagues here
in this country's history, but out of segregation. rose this wonderful
let me take that off so you can see it.
story of triumph and conquest. So,
and this is a key part to listen to here.
American segregation, a horrible.
People expect to come to the Negro League expecting to hear a bad story.
Because the story is obviously related and is propped against the backdrop of American segregation, a horrible chapter in this country's history. But out of segregation rose this wonderful story of triumph and conquest. So the circumstances that created a need for a Negro Leagues are sorrowful. The Negro Leagues themselves, oh no. No, this is a celebration, and we treat it as such. It is the celebration of the power of the human spirit to persevere and prevail. They never cried about the social injustice. They went out and did something about it.
Oh,
and
boy.
to me,
they went out and did something about it, which is the main point. Just take that part in.
oh no. No, this is a celebration, and we treat it as such. It is the celebration of the power of the human spirit to persevere and prevail. They never cried about the social injustice. They went out and did something about it. And to me, that's the beauty of what this campaign will emanate. And I think it will resonate with those who are going to be introduced to the Negro Leagues maybe for the first time. And that's exciting.
75 years ago, Jackie Robinson broke the modern color barrier. It's only 75 years in this long arc of history.
Yeah.
The Negro Leagues, the peak of the Negro Leagues, Andrew Rube Foster, Chicago American Giants,
yes,
founds the Negro Leagues. He's the founding president along with a group of gentlemen.
After he established the Negro Leagues on February 13, 1920, he stood there at the Purcell YMCA and boldly proclaimed, "We are the ship, all else the sea."
We are the ship, all else the sea. That's in the scriptures, definitely, Bakari. He was speaking some scriptures right there.
Was in essence his declaration of independence. He was serving notice to Major League Baseball that a new player had arrived on the scene to be reckoned with.
Boom. Bob, part of They Gave Us Game, the Negro Leagues collection is really
John Brown over here.
These uniforms and caps and these great shorts to a whole generation of people, maybe that aren't very aware of this story that we're talking about today, that just love the fashion. Can you talk?
I wonder if Negroes get paid off of these jerseys, which is like, there's a great thing to have, and I apologize for the word Negro if you're offended, but I'm just saying, like, I wonder if Black people get paid for this,
About what it means to you and perhaps to the museum to see this kind of get bigger.
Oh yeah, you could cut in anytime you want, Bakari, too.
It is very exciting, number one, to have an alignment and a partnership with a major player like Lids. So I'm excited that there's going to be a new generation
Lids get the profit from the Negro League jerseys.
Of young folks in particular that will be buying this merchandise because it is a tremendous fashion statement. But there are also going to be a tremendous group of young people when they do buy this.
And that's crazy, right? Because even our stuff is great with the fashion statements and all of that stuff. But, it's just as long as it's not given to us by another Black person. Is that the deal going on?
Merchandise, they're going to have an opportunity to learn about these great teams and about this amazing piece of history. And it is, again, a transcending kind of history. And I think what we've done here in collaboration with Lids is that we've brought that aspect into a very unique, fashionable manner that I think is going to really resonate with a lot of people. And of course, it's going to support this great institution so that we can continue to build and grow and thrive and to make sure that the life lessons of the Negro Leagues, which I think are as pertinent today as ever before, continue.
All right, so shut up.
Can I say something right quick, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing in the 21st century. What's the date? September 11th.
Oh snap! It's September 11th. I guess I should have came on here.
September 11, 2022. Black people, the difference, like when they say I'm not my ancestors. Those people, Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, all those people wanted to prove that they are better. I'm quite sure they had some back then that wanted to prove they were wanted to be accepted. But in the 21st century, you still got black people running around trying to prove that they are good enough and they should be accepted by as what they call the dominant society or the white supremacists. They are still, that's what they call them, the dominant society or the white supremacists. I call them neither. I just say white folk. Because you have really been dominated when you call them the dominant society. But anyway, we are trying to prove that we are good enough. And we still don't see nothing we have or anything we do as good enough. We are still searching for a white validation. Black people can't validate a lot of us, most of us. We're still searching for white validation. We still want to be okay in the eyes of white people. Don't be racist. Even that guy, whenever he said that, there looked like there was something in the 80s, 70s, 80s. Something that was the human spirit. The perseverance in the human spirit fight. No. The spirit of humanity or something that he said. No, that was black people fighting. That was black people fighting, no spirit of human, because ain't nobody else been through. So when you say stuff like that, it's to make it seem as if other people have gone through over here what black people have gone through, and they have all stood and fought the same way. And that wouldn't be true. And that would not be true. So that was black people fighting for whatever. Some wanted to prove they were better. Some wanted to prove they were good enough. But that's an old trick, and they're still doing it just to make them feel they ain't good enough. That's why after segregation, it was easy somewhat to have us, and it's a child's trick. It's a trick that can be played on children. But after segregation, we have told them all these years they ain't good enough, they ain't good enough, they ain't good enough. Now, once we open our doors and say, okay, y'all good enough, we don't even have to worry about them going to their own or dealing with their own anymore, because they want to prove to us that they are good enough. So they going to come in here and show us. And you'll still see that today. What the dude, remember the dude, Jim Jones, walking around mad in the Gucci store? They didn't treat him right, but he still want to give them their money. It's an old trick, but we keep falling for it. I hear the mic.
Yeah, facts. And shouts out to Erica Howard. Yo, thanks for coming through, Erica. And MD2, it won't let me put it up there, but MD2 said the Negro League demise is a microcosm of all black folk worldwide. You know what I'm saying? And Learning Curve said they include the world, they include the whole world when going against the African. That's another great point. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, with the Negro Leagues and Bakari, let me ask you a question real quick. Who winning the game right now?
Who winning the game? Dak Prescott losing.
That's what's up. I appreciate that, my brother. Nah, I was just messing with you though, because you know.
That don't bother me, because I know a lot of folks say you shouldn't watch football, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Shit. Man, if I just listen to what everything everybody say, black folk, man, we ain't gonna do nothing. It's a player out there I like. But another thing about that boycotting, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Man, look how many black folks you gonna be boycotting out of their jobs. I ain't just saying. But I watch players that I like. But this is the game I watched today. See,
I'm not. I know. I'm just messing with you, bro.
You could have asked me about Jackson State and Tennessee State yesterday. I watched that whole game.
Who won?
Jackson State won.
Yo, we're gonna talk about that at the end. That's why I'm trying to go through it. But yo, that's what's up.
Eddie George got Tennessee State ready though.
For real.
Mm-hmm. Eddie George got Tennessee State ready.
All right. I ain't watched none today though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't watched that yesterday either.
You know, I catch the score. I really ain't watching this. I just catch the scores. I have to have people that I really, really like to watch. Ain't nobody like they don't. Okay, Lamar Jackson, come on. I'm gonna watch Lamar Jackson. I'm gonna watch the black quarterback. I like Dak Prescott. He a mulatto, but I like Dak Prescott.
Yeah. So you think he proved to Jerry Jones that he's better? He's good enough?
Shit, I guess he proved him something. He was good enough to get that check. But like I ain't really watching. I don't really watch too much sports anymore. I catch the scores. That's my thing. I just say, what's the score?
Okay.
That's the thing for me, seeing the score.
All right. So what's the score with us?
What, black folk versus the world?
Yeah.
You know, we got a long way to go, man. We trying to catch up. We need to go on a little mini run. You know what a mini run is?
We need to but we need to go on a huge run.
We need to shut down at least 5-6 stores in our neighborhoods and reopen them as black stores. Then we'll be okay. We won't be okay, but that'll be the beginning. We need to shut down like 5-6 of them stores, get rid of all them rat fives right stores, get the Arabs and East Indian, and then they open back up as black-owned businesses. That's the beginning.
Yeah, and I don't know if you heard in the beginning though, right? Like in sports, right? Like you don't want to see when you have a team, right? You don't want to see another team see you arguing on the sidelines, right? But in the case where the players, because there are cases where players get in a fight with each other on the sidelines and stuff happen. Now, usually when that happens, you know what I'm saying? What do you think? Like what do you think going on in that game?
When they fighting with each other?
Yeah.
Them some players that already had problems and one of them messing up. They losing.
Yeah, but usually when you see that happen in like when you go to the sports, she said black people play like the Falcons. Nah, because the Falcons may give up a lead. I think we play like the I don't know. We Detroit, you know what I'm saying? We actually
we the Aints from the 80s, never win. They call them the Saints now, but back they used to wear the brown paper bag to the game in the 80s. We the Aints from the 80s.
Shit, we actually like whatever college team trying to play an NFL game right now. But we could be the Monstars though. That's the crazy part, you know. But yeah, but like I said, like when you see people fighting and stuff, like in a basketball game, you'll see players arguing when they down 50 points, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they arguing, want to fight one another. One of them messed up. Yeah, like when Draymond Green and Kevin Durant got into it.
Yeah, but they won the championship though.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's what'd you say?
I don't think they won that year.
Oh,
I think that's the year KD got hurt.
Oh, damn.
And everybody knew they was gonna leave, but before he got hurt, yeah, they had already got into it.
Well, our star player must have got hurt too. So, all right, let me speaking of that, let's talk about the modern day Negro Leagues here. And I'm pretty sure some of y'all might got an opinion about the Ice Cube Basketball League, you know what I'm saying, since we on basketball. I'm gonna play just a little bit of this.
My boy, yeah. All-time leading scorer in the league when he hung it up. And so, you know, he gonna be our coach now. Damn, I know they got more game in them. I know it. Like, all they want to talk about is how old somebody is. And they're not talking about can you do it or you can't. So seeing dudes retire after building up fan base from high school, junior high, college, pros. Like these dudes got fucking 20 years of fans and they just poof, gone. Like that talent has to be pooled somewhere where people can see these guys still play. Some of your most ferocious games are gonna be 3-on-3. You know where to hide.
Thanks.
I said, man, what? It's over when you say it's over. This man right here ain't got no friends out here.
Now he doing a lot of promotion, which he should do. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to get to like some more
Hear
stable.
that shit. And he walked around everybody like circling. I'm like, Yeah. I'm saying.
All right, so this is him on the news talking about it because they just ended their 5th season.
For a 5th straight season, Big 3 basketball is back. You can catch some of the action right here on Channel 8 starting this weekend. Joining us to talk about it and a special all-star game, hip-hop mega superstar, actor, Raider super founder, and of course the co-founder of...
Now this is bitches the most dangerous species in the planet. Did you hear this? I'm gonna keep going now.
The Big 3 League himself, Ice Cube. Thank you so much for being on the show this morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. How you feeling?
I am feeling well. Well, I have to ask you because you're here on Good Day Las Vegas. Ice Cube, is today a good day?
Yo, Bakar, did you hear that?
Today is a good day.
Do you get it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I ain't know it. You was his partner. Somebody told me that the Jew owned. He was the face, but I didn't know he had a Jew partner.
Oh man, you tried to hit him with today was a good day.
Today was a good day.
Mm.
Did Ice Cube say today was a good day? He ain't let him respond.
I kind of don't even want to play it after that. All right, I'm gonna let him respond.
Cube, is today a good day?
Today is definitely a good day.
I am so glad to hear that. Hey, we're talking Big 3. For folks who don't know exactly what Big 3 is, can you fill us in really quick about what this league is that you've created 5 years now?
Well, I mean, everybody that has played basketball or have checked out basketball have seen 3-on-3. It's usually regulated to pick up games and
something that you've done here recently that's pretty cool is that everyday folks like me can actually take ownership in these teams, and there's 12 teams. Is that right?
Yeah, 12 teams. You know, we offered ownership this year through NFTs. We recreated and reimagined the NFT. We call it a FEAT, which is a forever experience action token, which means that, you know, you can, definitely get owner-like benefits from these tokens. And we just think it's cool, a cool way to get fans a little closer to the league, have fans to have, bigger stakes. Why be a fan when you could be an owner?
Well, yeah, no kidding. I mean, if you're not good enough to play, you might as well be an owner.
The most dangerous creature in the universe, my brother.
That is so great. Now, any changes for the upcoming season?
Well, I mean, we had some great changes last year as far as to the rules. We brought in Bring the Fire, which is a one-on-one, to solve any fouls that happen. So we don't want to tinker with the game too much. We just brought in great players. Gerald Green's joining the league, Michael Beasley, Corey Brewer. We still got our two-time MVP, Joe Johnson. So, we just want to do everything.
Now, I must say, though, every face they've shown so far has been a black face, you know what I'm saying? Even except for that one poster, you know what I'm saying? But I at least got to say that.
Better than we did last year. We don't want to tinker with the game too much. We feel like people love it. The first 1 to 50 win. You get 3 games in the same time as you can get 1 NBA game in. So it's just, to me, it's kind of calibrated perfectly.
It's fast action, a lot of fun. Ice Cube, thank you so much for being on Good Day this morning. Hey, folks at home, tickets and information.
All right.
Founder and, of course, the co-founder of the Big Ice Cube. Thank you so much for being on the show this morning. How are you doing?
Good. How you feeling?
I am feeling well. Well, I have to ask you because you're here on Good Day Las Vegas. Ice Cube, is today a good day?
Oh, man. Now, Bakari, the new Negro Leagues here, you know what I'm saying? And we have a basketball league. I've seen a bunch of black faces here, you know what I'm saying? It's interesting, you know what I'm saying? Is today a good day?
Yeah, today is a good day. Today is a good day. I watched the Big 3, man. They had my favorite player, man, my dude Abdul Rauf. I think he done got too old to even do the big three now, but yeah. So I used to watch the big three. It gave people an opportunity. Like you said, people who's retired, and you know, some of them didn't make all the millions like others. Some of them may have spent some of their money, but it gave them an opportunity. It gave them an opportunity to make some money as well. You know, they were making about $100,000 out there doing that big three. So again, Ice Cube, his props on there. Like I said, I enjoyed the big three. I watched it.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. And now it come on TV, you know what I'm saying? They did a contract with FX. And yo, speaking of that, brother, because and by the way, Habari, Mr. Untouchable, and Diamond said, how do we stop, really stop the washing of our history? That NYC point guards was a clear case of how they used some and got rid of the rich history of the majority. You want to answer that one, Bakari?
I can't see it. Say it again.
He said, how do we stop, really stop the washing of our history? I think that one of the videos I showed was a clear case of how they use it to get rid of some of the rich history of the majority. I think he said, how do we, I guess the question pretty much how do we stop the washing of our history? You know what I'm saying? And how they using all of this stuff to kind of the conversation we was having about Josh Gibson and stuff, you know?
Well, we got to stay this, and we have to write our history. If we don't do anything about it, you know, we study it, and you know, we have scholars that have written history for us. We have people that have done stuff, but if we don't follow the history, but that's what happened. We have to follow our history. Have to want to follow our history, and that's how you will stop them from, as you say, whitewashing the history.
Yeah, facts. And Mr. Untouchable said, "Oh, he fell off." I was about to ask him this question because he's trying to be comfortable and watch the game and be on here at the same time. You gotta choose. You can't pray to two guys. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pick one. No, I'm just messing with you, Bakari. We stopped. To answer the question, Matrix said we stopped them by educating our own people. Yo, and that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, you know, I try to at least come on here and use this platform for that point. You know what I'm saying? To educate the people. I guess Bakari gonna be right back. Learning Curve also said we need to stop using the public systems. They keep us busy with jobs so that we'll never be totally liberated. And that's a fact, you know what I'm saying? Because if you're working for somebody all day, every day, 8, 12 hours, it takes away the time, the energy that you have on focusing on yourself, on ingenuity, solving problems that, you know what I'm saying, to make life better. You're so worried about manufactured problems and stuff that didn't even exist a couple hundred years ago is our main worries today, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's just being a part of the system, but, you know, that's the $1 million question, you know what I'm saying, to unplug somebody or not, you know? Because I guess if you unplug somebody's mind without their body without their mind, you know what I'm saying, they're dead, you know? So, all right, I'll let Bakari finish watching the game. I'll go to the next thing. All right, because he brought up Abdul Rauf, you know what I'm saying? So let me play some of this.
There's a time when you want to show power, and there's a time. There's a time when you want to show power, and there's a time when you want to be finesse. In order for me,
the basketball court always has provided refuge for Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, a place he felt confident and in command.
Push it, faster. Come on, push yourself. Get outside.
From his days at Gulfport High, where he...
Hold on, let me take this off.
Was Mississippi's Mr. Basketball 2 years in a row, to his All-American career at LSU, to his 9 seasons in the NBA. The court was a place where, despite being barely 6 feet, Abdul Rauf wowed fans through his wizardry with the ball. But these days, Abdul Rauf can be found captivating some of academia's best and brightest, like when he spoke as part of a religious studies program at Yale last October.
If you go back to the 60s, when you saw that police dogs were being sick, police brutality, the images that we saw on television, and you look at the images now, there's really no difference.
In fact, today, Abdul Rauf is in demand.
Assalamu alaikum.
From engaging with community members at an Islamic center in Detroit, to leading a youth basketball clinic, to meeting with 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Abdul Rauf has appeared at more than a dozen events since August. When at the start of the NFL preseason, Kaepernick chose not to stand for the national anthem in protest of oppression against African Americans and police brutality, he sparked not only a national controversy, but essentially the resurrection of Abdul Rauf.
He mentioned that this is the most free that he's ever felt in his life. And that's what it does. I understood what he was saying 100%, and I feel the same way.
Long before Trayvon Martin, before Black Lives Matter, before President Trump announced a travel ban on 7 predominantly Muslim countries, there was Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, a convert to Islam.
All right. I'm gonna skip past this part, all right? Because we're gonna leave this convert part out, you know.
More confirmed now because nothing has really changed at all. More and feeling that way. If anything, it's even more confirmed.
Oh, sorry, my bad, y'all.
Stop believing in what I believe in and feeling that way. If anything, it's even more confirmed now because nothing has really changed at all. In a lot of cases, it's getting worse.
During his recent visit to Detroit, just a week after the travel ban had been announced, Abdul Rauf was asked his first reaction to the executive order.
I looked at it as an affront to Muslims worldwide, an attack on the religion itself.
Life as a child in Gulfport was tough for Abdul Rauf, then known as Chris Jackson. Raised by a single mom, he struggled with Tourette's syndrome and grew up amid a hotbed of drugs, prostitution, and poverty. At LSU, his coach Dale Brown gave Jackson the autobiography of Malcolm X, a book that launched him on the path to becoming a Muslim.
His life fascinated me. Just the mind that he was, how he articulated his views, how moral he seemed to be.
With the 3rd pick in the 1990 NBA draft, the Denver Nuggets select.
In 1993, he changed his name to Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. Reporter Dave Krieger covered the Nuggets for more than a dozen.
Pro athlete at all. But when he talked about Islam, it was just very serious, very studious.
As he delved deeper into his new religion, Abdul Rauf decided that participating in the national anthem was in conflict with his faith. And in March 19...
Now, we can definitely agree on that one because God definitely says the national anthem is in conflict with my faith. You know what I'm saying? Or pledging allegiance to something that's designed to kill me is against is a sin. You know what I'm saying?
1996, when a journalist ultimately reported on Abdul Rauf's stance, it created a firestorm.
America is the reason why he's making the big bucks, and I mean, he should at least respect that.
It's also a symbol of oppression, of tyranny. So it depends on how you look at it. You can't stand for both. You can't be for God and be for oppression.
When it does become public, what is the reaction?
You can't be for God and be for oppression.
That you deal with suddenly.
There were hate mail that came through. There were death threats that came through.
Then NBA Commissioner David Stern suspended Abdul Rauf, citing a rule that players must stand for the anthem. Stern, asked recently about the incident, told Outside the Lines, "We said to him, look, you don't have to come out. You could stay in the locker room. But if you come out with the team, given our rule, we can't have selective enforcement. You're going to have to stand." He said no, and so we suspended him. The showdown lasted 1 game. Abdul Rauf says that after seeking guidance from other Muslims, he found a compromise solution: to stand and pray during the anthem.
There is no compromise. Well, okay, listen. All right. And I know this is extreme, but there is no such thing as compromise when it comes to God and your beliefs and your faith in yourself. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as a compromise. You know what I'm saying? And that's a tough thing to do for any of us. And, you know, and that's why I'm not judging him. I'm just saying, you know, I wouldn't judge him because I can't say before I would make the same decision and came to me, I would say now on here, I would say yes, you know, and I believe so that I would put God's faith over my own, because you cannot serve, you know, like he just said, you know, God doesn't, you know, with the oppression thing, you know.
Though he led the team in scoring and assists, the Nuggets traded Abdul Rauf to Sacramento after the season. He played 2 underwhelming years for the Kings, plagued by injuries and decreased playing time. And then he was out of the league.
Once you make someone's life uncomfortable, expect your life to be made uncomfortable. There's going to be fallback. And eventually, my career is going to change. Not that I had a death wish, yeah, because you've seen the examples, the Muhammad Ali's, you know, this is the way it works.
But to others, it was far more complicated. There were Abdul Rauf's ongoing struggles with Tourette's and managing his medications, a devotion to Islam that had him fasting during Ramadan, weaknesses on defense, and questions about his commitment.
So as a GM...
All right, they're trying to play him at this point. Let me see. All right, Bakari still off. Yo, God definitely said, you know, you have the right to defend yourself. You know, shouts out to Melanated Goddess. What's up? Thanks for coming through. You know what I'm saying? But you definitely have the right to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not supposed to put other things over you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about anybody's particular religion, but like, yo, that's just how it works, you know? Like, we have the right to stand on our, you know, like, we have the right to stand on what we stand on. You know what I'm saying?
The Chicago Bulls answered all their critics last year, compiling the best regular season record in their history.
Though Jordan was noticeably absent when the Bulls visited the White House in 1991, Craig Hodges was determined to make an impression.
You couldn't help but notice when Craig Hodges showed up in that outfit. It was startling.
That was his religion. That was his belief. But I do know this. When you saw it on TV, he stood out.
I loved him because he was Kufi and was definitely not afraid to express his blackness, and he could play. He had a 3.
The biggest part was once we got on the national stage, people's first question, why are you wearing this dashiki? I wanted it to be on the record that I came in a certain manner that was respectful, but also mindful of where I came from and where I want my people to be.
Craig used the opportunity to slip the president a letter.
Mr. President, the athletes from the Chicago Bulls, number 12, 10 of whom are of the descendants of African slaves, I have taken on the responsibility to speak on behalf of those.
Exactly, Miss Untouchable. Like, we are entitled to our own individualism. You know what I'm saying? He can express himself any way that he wants to and is not less than. You know what I'm saying? We have to start being proud of our beliefs, of our heritage, and it's okay to stand on that. You know what I'm saying? You can defend it and whatever, you know what I'm saying? Is there consequences? Yeah, well, that's the whole point though, you know.
Those who are not able to be heard from where they are. We have a sector of our population that is being described as an endangered species, i.e. the young black man. The question must be asked, why is the condition of the inner cities?
Now listen to what this brother was talking about, you know what I'm saying? He said, our people.
Why are you wearing this dashiki? I wanted it to be on the record that I came in a certain manner that was respectful, but also mindful of where I came from and where I want my people to be.
Craig used the opportunity to slip the president a letter.
Mr. President, the athletes from the Chicago Bulls, number 12, 10 of whom are of the descendants of African slaves, I have taken on the responsibility to speak on behalf of those who are not able to be heard from where they are. We have a sector of our population that is being described as an endangered species, i.e. the young black man. The question must be asked, why is the condition of the inner cities around the country in a state of emergency because of wanton violence, lack of jobs, or drugs?
I want to know. I want to know.
It is very important that the citizens of this great nation make a determination of what side of history we will be on in this most critical hour.
Right. So, like you said, man, what side will you be on in this most critical hour? Mr. Untouchable said the same right-wing dudes talk about individualism, then they want him to blend in. But that's the thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, there is like the definition and that you will find in the dictionary. That's the definition that people practice. Because like Republican is somebody who wants a smaller government. You kind of want the government out of your business, you know what I'm saying? But they don't want the government out of other people's who they feel is a problem business, aka us, you know what I'm saying? They like if we start arming ourselves or you go to the Capitol, they're going to want some kind of bill passed to make sure that you stop arming black men in California. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's definition of conservatism. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't believe in conservatism because they also believe in spending $1 billion for the war on drugs. You know what I'm saying? AKA the war on us. Like it's all just them talking, you know what I'm saying? But the unfortunate part is we are willing to spend billions of dollars on their things and support their stuff. And, it's like we don't feel like our things are good enough. You know what I mean? Like, all right, nah, you good, Bakar, you good. Just come back on when you're ready, my brother, or if you can. All right, so while we're going through this, let me go to the next part, you know what I'm saying? So that was the basketball things. And shouts out to those brothers who stood on their beliefs, you know what I'm saying? And it's okay. There may be a sacrifice that you have to make, you know what I'm saying? But it's just the choice that you have to make. What do you want? And then after that sacrifice, you can then move on to say, well, what can I do in this situation? Like they was talking about the Negro Leagues. Right? They wouldn't allow you in their league, so you make your own. But now that they allow you, you feel like there's not a need to have your own Negro Leagues. Like it's okay to stand on your own principles and to defend yourself. And if somebody's attacking you, you have the right to survive like everything in the universe. And listen, if I see a little bird go attack my dog because it get close to their nest to protect their eggs and their young, everything has a need to survive except for us, you know what I'm saying? And God definitely said it's okay to stand up for your beliefs and, you know what I'm saying, do what's right and don't sacrifice your beliefs for nobody else, you know what I'm saying? And defend yourself, it's okay. All right, so this next one, so we're gonna move on to another sport, you know what I'm saying? And I saw this one on my brother Bitter Medicine podcast. Make sure y'all subscribe to him. But this old white lady hating on Serena Williams. So let me play this.
The clash between Serena Williams and Margaret Court. Isn't it disappointing that Williams can't give Court the respect that she deserves as the all-time record holder?
And by the way, Serena Williams is the GOAT.
And now Margaret Court has spoken out about her treatment from the tennis world, including retiring star Serena Williams. She said, Serena, I've admired her as a player, but I don't think she has ever admired me. In the interview with the UK Telegraph, Margaret Court described her disappointment in Williams' lack of respect and the bullying she's encountered from the media and the tennis world. I've had a lot of bullying, but we should be able to say what we believe, she said. I've got nothing against anybody.
Take this off. She said, I got nothing against anybody. I respect everybody.
I respect everybody. I minister to everybody. And strangely, it appears that Serena Williams and her media mates are determined to rewrite history. You'd think she'd be happy celebrating her retirement as one of the game's greats, but the fact that she failed to equal or beat Margaret Court's record is obviously a sore point. Not content with being labelled the GOAT, the greatest of all time, by segments of the media, Williams has in recent weeks claimed that she has broken Court's record.
It's Australian tennis player Margaret Court who holds the record for most Grand Slams of all time, 24.
Serena, we've heard the number 24 over and over and over. What's your take on how you wrap your mind around breaking records?
I've already broken the record. I never dreamt of having this many Grand Slams or titles.
As we discussed last week,
Fact, she already broke the record. You heard her.
she has done no such thing. Court has 24 single titles, Serena 23. How she could pretend she's already broken the record is frankly beyond reason, unless she suddenly decided that because her titles were won in the Open era, she is no longer in competition with Court.
Now, you hear how the disdain won in the Open era, like meaning, right, that old white bitch was playing against nothing but sorry-ass white girls, you know what I'm saying? And are you telling me she would have stood a chance on the court when sisters start coming out there, especially Serena Williams? You know what I'm saying? Oh, so because black players won't allow, somehow this doesn't count. She's pissed about that. And I don't even know if she's like would be accepted into the white organization or not. But, you know.
Unless she suddenly decided that because her titles were won in the Open era, she is no longer in competition with Court for the record. How convenient. And it was only a few weeks earlier when Williams acknowledged that she had not broken the record. She wrote that in a piece for Vogue magazine. But now she's changed her tune. She can claim what she likes. The record books will show that Margaret Court won 24 Grand Slam single titles, as well as 40 other major titles, including doubles.
I don't know if this is a true statement because they ain't even put the quotation marks, but I think they're trying to say this what she said. I'd be lying if I said I didn't want that record. Obviously, I do. And they're trying to throw it in her face like, oh, no, this white girl is better. Please, like.
And mixed doubles. It reflects poorly on Serena Williams that she failed to acknowledge Court's stellar achievements and even falsely claimed to have surpassed them. So Serena could learn a thing or two from another Australian tennis great, Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley, who
Oh, would you look at that? That's the person she could learn something from? This teenage dude here, teenage white boy.
Cawley, who like Court, came back after childbirth to win Grand Slam singles titles. Goolagong-Cawley has said that Court would be a champion in any era and, in her eyes, is the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
Now, I don't know if she'd be a champ in any era, but I would put money she would not be a champ in the Negro Leagues. You know what I'm saying? I would put money on that. And, you know, this girl is hot. You know what I'm saying? So, for some reason, she just hate that Serena is not the call Serena the GOAT. And they really think this white bitch, you know, in an era where like probably like 4 people was playing tennis and all of them was white bitches who she was going against, that she's somehow the GOAT. You think that she can step on the court with her? But listen, I get that it don't really matter what they say, but let me play this one and see if y'all got something to say.
As it relates to women's tennis and why I say Serena Williams is not the greatest tennis player of all time, women's tennis player. When it comes to singles titles, this is just titles won in women's tennis. Listen to this list. Margaret Court, 192 victories. Martina Navratilova, 167. Chris Evert, 157. Billie Jean King, 129. Steffi Graf, 107. Yvonne Goolagong, I think that's her name, 86.
And by the way, they paid Maria Sharapova more than her or something like that. It's crazy.
Suzanne Lenglen, 81. And then at number 8, Serena Williams, 73. This goes to availability. Availability is the greatest ability.
All right, and first, but Mr. Untouchable said lack of respect. Who is this lady that Mrs. Williams must respect? The Australian lady was playing against tomato cans back in the day. Yo, facts. It's like that thing with boxing. You know what I'm saying? They do with Rocky Marciano, who was fighting, people in the alley and stuff like that. And if he would have stepped foot with a real boxer, you know what I'm saying? Like, Jack Johnson would have knocked him out. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of fighters that would have knocked him out, I get what you're saying, Bakari. I get what you're saying. But she's still the greatest tennis player of all time. And, that white bitch is definitely not. The record was set when no black players was allowed. Exactly, But speaking of what he just said, let me run it back a little bit.
This goes to availability. Serena Williams, 73. This goes to availability.
Now, let me say this. He said it goes to availability. Okay, she's a sellout, right? Now, are y'all telling me, like, Bakari, would you say Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player? Because he quit the game, you know what I'm saying, in the middle of playing. And I'm not saying he's the greatest or not. I'm just saying the availability argument is dumb. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't go by how long somebody played. You go by their greatness. You know what I'm saying? And Michael Jordan did some coonish things too. We just saw Craig Hodges. And I meant to say that he asked Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson to sit out the NBA finals to challenge the system that we face. And you heard him just talking about, I was talking about black men and what they face and black people in general. And, you heard what Michael Jordan said. Really, Bakari? So you put your money on Rocky Marciano, my brother. Come on. And stop it, Bakari. Let's see. But yeah, let me go on because you starting to sound like this brother right here. Because this is what you sounded like, Bakari.
Availability is the greatest ability. She ain't play enough. And she chose to have a well-rounded life. God bless her. Hats off to her. It was the smart thing to do. I'm not knocking that. But don't come tell me that you're the greatest of all time.
Yo, Bakari, that's what I'm saying though. Like, is Michael Jordan the greatest basketball player of all time? Like, yo, in tennis, she's the greatest of all time. Is she the greatest black person or the most revolutionary person of all time? No. But yo, just in tennis, you know what I'm saying? And she would dust that white bitch. I'll put my money on Serena. You can put your money on the old white bitch.
Time when you don't have half as many titles, as many victories as Martina Navratilova. She's got 167. Serena has 73. That's not half. Margaret Court, who I really don't count, she played in an era, but again, she's got the most major titles, 192. Chris Evert has twice as many as Serena. When it comes to finals appearances, listen to
and
this.
That Chris Evert white boy, he also said something like that. Serena better bow down and respect me kind of language. You know what I'm saying? And this goes back to that whole, what was they call it? Race norming. You know what I'm saying? You're a little bit too uppity. That goes against this race norming idea we have. You know what I'm saying? But of course, we're too dumb to know that. So,
Serena. When it comes to finals
so who is the GOAT, Bakari?
Appearances. Listen to this list. Martina Navratilova, 239. Margaret Court, 233. Chris Evert, 226. Billie Jean King, 189. Steffi Graf, 136. Yvonne Goolagong, 119. Serena Williams, 98.
You heard that? He said everybody, 119, 138. Serena Williams, 98. This white girl, 93. This other white girl, 85. Serena, 98.
Hey man, when you start talking about the greatest of all time, it's about accomplishments. And it can't just be reduced to major titles. When we start, if you want to get in a debate about Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus and all that, it's going to be a legitimate debate. Tiger's going to have less major titles, but I think he has more victories than everybody except for, why am I forgetting? Ben Hogan, maybe? But Tiger's got 82. Once he gets 83, I think he's got the most. But that will be.
Now, do any of y'all know who Ben Hogan is? Yeah, I feel you, Bakari.
Tiger's argument. I got more victories. He was available and winning and won at the highest level in all the tournaments. He has an argument. Serena not available. I'm just sorry. And availability matters. It's the greatest ability. You listen to any coach, anybody that understands sports, it matters. So Serena benefits from this woke era of sports media coverage over the last 2 decades. The fact that she's black puts her on steroids and distorts the entire argument. Serena probably, if I really wanted to be technical and if I really just wanted to argue with you all, I'd have put Steffi Graf ahead of Serena as well. And there's a legitimate...
It says Steffi Graf. Now let me see where she was at. Okay, she was 138. Serena Williams 98.
I'd have put Steffi Graf ahead of Serena as well. And there's a legitimate case. I think Steffi Graf has 22 majors. Serena has 23. But Serena gets all these extra credit points because she's overcome racism, according to everybody. And look, did she face some discrimination? Probably, yes. Did people yell things at her?
See,
yes.
That's the thing, when you hear them do that kind of talking, they be like, did they do this? Yes. Did racism happen? Yes. Did people get lynched? Yes. Did the person sit down on his neck for 10 minutes? Yes. But does black people deserve it? Look at you, black on black crime. Come on, man, shut up.
Did people yell things at her? Yes. But people yelling at you and being a heel and people not that's spinach for athletes. That's extra motivation for athletes. Serena had an enormous athletic advantage over everybody she played against, including her sister Venus.
Right, which would make her the GOAT, fool. Bakari said, no, I don't expect them to, you know what I'm saying? But that don't make her, you know what I'm saying? That's a learning experience. I would use that for a learning experience, but that don't make her not the GOAT at tennis, though. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It don't have nothing to do with my emotions or nothing. You know what I'm saying? If she played a tennis match with somebody, any white bitch, anybody, you know what I'm saying? She would beat them. You know what I'm saying? They don't really got nothing to do with my emotions. In her prime, I guess,
Serena hit the genetics lottery. Not trying to denigrate her, just speaking factually, she hit the genetics lottery.
And that's an interesting point. The genetics lottery, right? And it's ironic where those genetics happen to come from most of the time. That genetic lottery hits in a certain demographic a lot more than others.
She looks like Earl Campbell.
Here we go.
I mean, are we watching her in this fight? She looks like Earl Campbell out there. Not trying to denigrate her, just speaking facts.
Now, let me ask you something. Is he about to take her out on a date or something? Or is he a sports analyst on a sports show on TV that's supposed to be talking about tennis and not some emotional stuff here? Let's get out of our emotions, y'all. Talking about she looked like Earl Campbell, my brother. Now, Bakari, do you agree with that too?
I mean, are we watching her in this fight? She looks like Earl Campbell out there. Not trying to denigrate her, just speaking factually. She's got a genetic talent advantage over everybody she played, including her sister Venus. That talent allowed her to mail it in a lot of times and still win. Not available enough. And I know people, Whitlock doesn't like Serena Williams. I don't dislike Serena Williams. I'm just one of the few people that will speak factually on Serena Williams. Everybody else is scared. They don't want to be called sexist. They don't want to be called racist. She's ascended into that special place in American society where anybody says anything negative. She can crip walk at Wimbledon. She can crip walk at Wimbledon. And if anybody says a word about it, they're racist. Now
she can crip walk at Wimbledon. Well, first of all, I'm not even sure how to even respond to that one. So
sister was killed by gangbangers, but she can crip walk at women.
Miss Untouchable, it's not about sports, it's about selling white supremacy to his audience through sports. Interesting how they use every aspect of life, of civilization, to increase and to maintain their position, including sports, entertainment, all of this other stuff that produces billions of dollars of revenue, and all of the things that we are up against means that we are open to capitalize on all of that stuff. But you know what? Racism doesn't exist and capitalism is evil. And I don't even mean it that way, but so we're speaking the English language, but I can't even keep going.
Wimbledon, and if you say anything bad about it, if you say it's not classy, if you say it's inappropriate, it's because you're racist. She's lived in that protected space. She's lived that life of privilege, and that life of privilege is why everybody's running around. Oh, she's the greatest of all time. She belongs in around Rushmore. She's better than LeBron James. She's better than this person or that person.
LeBron James plays tennis, and yes, she's better than LeBron James in tennis. I'll got my money on LeBron James in basketball.
Person. And she belongs in around. Take Babe Ruth off. Take Barry Bonds off. Take some man off and put Serena on. And it's only because she lives in that protected, privileged space of being a woman and a black woman in this era in America. If you actually go look at the accomplishments, she ain't in the conversation for GOAT. For tennis, she ain't in that conversation. And damn sure, sports all time, she's not in that conversation.
All right. All right. I feel you. All right, so we're gonna keep going, you know what I'm saying? Speaking of more sports, because I know we want to represent everything, and this is not just American thing, and I'm not saying this for evil, you know what I'm saying, or for negative things or to knock anybody, you know what I'm saying? Although it is to knock us, but it's not in the way that y'all would probably use it, you know what I'm saying? Because we rep every single other country, you know what I'm saying? In the Olympics, I've seen Black French people, Black Britons, Black Americans, Black, you know what I'm saying, everything that you can think of, and we fight for other people's country. But, speaking of sports, so let me show you this sister here, Simone Biles.
Gymnasts perform stunning feats that push the limits of physical ability, impress judges, and thrill spectators.
Hello, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're going to talk about why the Olympics had to change rules because of Simone Biles. The Olympics is the biggest sporting event in the world, featuring a wide array of sports competitions and rewarding sportspersons from around the world with what can only be called the biggest prize in sports, which we refer to as the Olympic gold. It's basically the core of sports as we know it, and not unlike other competitions, makes sure that the most important factor during the entire event is safety. Sports can be tough and even brutal at times, and as such, making efforts to ensure the safety of the participants is key. However, the overall nature of these sports, which actively endanger the lives of their participants, has many times posed a major problem to the sports authorities, and an example of this can be seen in today's video. With that, let's dive into the latest update on the Olympics. Simone Biles, problem enthusiast per cup in attendance. She is widely considered to be the greatest, most dominant female gymnast the world has ever seen.
The GOAT, another Black woman.
This
who's a
doesn't
GOAT.
exactly make her a person the Olympics would like to have bad blood against, does it? So what exactly did Simone Biles do that shook even the Olympics authorities? Let's get right down to it. The Olympics Simone Biles problem. As we have talked about above, the safety of sports participants is of utmost importance to the Olympics authorities, and one of the sports which has the largest amount of risk attached to it is gymnastics. Simply making a minute error during the jump or not being able to attain a specific posture during a landing can cripple a participant for life. And
so pretty much, they had to reduce her score because the moves that she was doing one of those little white girls would have killed herself for trying, and they know that they couldn't do it, which would make her the GOAT because they had to stop moves that she created and invented, you know what I'm saying, to save their little kids' lives, you know what I'm saying? And then they had the nerve to get mad at her because she said she didn't want to participate for the Olympics, and they call her a traitor and a sellout.
And that's being an optimist. Gymnastics is extremely dangerous, especially for newcomers who very often try to bite off more than they can chew, which leaves the authorities to ensure their safety for them. This, however, leads to many problems like the one we'll discuss today. Simone Biles, the greatest gymnast in the world, has created many tricks of her own, which have risen in complexity with the years. She has an unimaginable lead over her opponents, and as such, has many a times forgotten to account for their safety, at least according to the Olympics officials. It is because of this that they decided to water down the value of the new elements Biles comes up with, that the authorities consider perilous. This decision has been met with severe backlash both from Biles and her fans. An example of this was seen last month when Biles performed her new extremely difficult skill, the Yurchenko double pike. To perform it, a gymnast must first launch herself onto the vaulting table in a round-off back handspring, then propel herself high enough to flip twice in a pike posture with her body folded and her legs straight before landing on her feet. It's the kind of technique that a platform diver can accomplish far more easily because of gravity and a safety of a soft landing. The move made her opponents cower with fear, and so no other participant dared to try it out. Biles performed this trick for the first time in a competition and became the first woman in history to ever do so. This trick, to all of her viewers, was an absolute award-winning move. Well, to almost all her viewers. Because unlike just about everyone in the audience, the judges were not too impressed by it, giving her a mere 6.6, which was too low according to the gymnast, and this poor scoring led to the entire problem between the Olympics and the...
All right, let me stop it and go on. I know the game is almost over, so I'm gonna go off when it probably go off. I should take this down, you know what I'm saying, afterwards, you know what I'm saying, so people think they can come back and just watch it later, you know, even though it may, I don't care how many people it is, but you know, I should just take this down, because like, you know, like no matter what we're saying, you know what I'm saying, like yo, like we are supporting other people and all of this other stuff. We're giving other people a passes, and then yo, we just got so much smoke for, you know what I'm saying, ourselves and all of this stuff, you know. And then if we just have faith in each other and build our own institutions, you know what I'm saying. But it's just so comfortable, the position that we're in, you know what I'm saying, where we don't have to do much. We don't have to worry about much. And then we could just get sucked, like it's just sucking us slowly, you know what I'm saying? But that's more comfortable than getting hung from a tree, you know what I'm saying? Wouldn't have as much urgency, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to create a store, you know, because they could spit in my food in the bag, you know, but, or, you know, especially how they make it anyway, you know, the degraded meat that they use anyway. And just because I can go in their stores now, I don't have to go to black businesses. I don't have to support all of this stuff, because you know what? You know, it is what it is. Not everything is bad. All, you know, it is what it is, man.
Hockey fans.
So we're going to the next sport. We're going to talk about hockey.
Black history and hockey history only intersect at a handful of noteworthy moments. Moments like Willie O'Ree breaking the color barrier in 1958.
Looks to be the last one to touch it.
Grant Fuhr becoming the first black player to have his name etched onto the Stanley Cup.
Grant Fuhr, hard to imagine this kid is just 4 years into his National Hockey League career.
Or Jerome McGinley becoming the first visible minority to lead the league in scoring in 2002.
Well, how about that shot?
But BIPOC contributions to hockey date back nearly as far as the origin of the game itself. 22 years before the NHL was founded, a group of Black Baptist churches in the maritime provinces of Canada created the Colored Hockey League. From 1895 until 1930, black men from Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island competed for teams like the Africville Seasides, the Dartmouth Jubilees, and the Halifax Eurekas. These men played the game with a degree of speed and athleticism organized hockey hadn't seen before, pioneering many skills commonly seen in today's game. Next time you watch Shea Weber score on a blast from the point,
Shea Weber with a rocket from downtown.
think of Eddie Martin, the former captain of the Eureka's, who took the first documented slap shot in 1906. Rules in most other leagues at the time prevented players from lifting their sticks above their waists. The Colored Hockey League was also the first league to allow goaltenders to drop to the ice and stop the puck. The butterfly technique wouldn't fully take hold in the NHL until a half-century later when Patrick Waugh revolutionized modern goaltending.
When a white boy came along and solved all of y'all problem, when John Brown showed up, you know what I'm saying? But of course, it wasn't a black person, so this is not our enemy. You know, we can learn from him. It's okay, you know.
While it's important to remember the BIPOC pioneers at all levels of hockey during Black History Month, let's also use the time to appreciate hockey's...
All right, so I'm going to the next one. Let me go to the next one. And let me play. I'm gonna skip through some of this and then I'm gonna play the next part because I want to play some important parts from this one. You know what I'm saying? And this is taking it back to the HBCUs because this is supposed to be positive, but it shouldn't even be positive. You know what I'm saying? And there's a recent surge of black people, black students going back to HBCUs and putting their sacrificing their bodies. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna do it anyway for these other places. You know what I'm saying? But of course, we's our own worst enemy. So, you know, why should we go to black schools? But at least a lot of these players is going to black schools and it's making a lot of them nervous. You know what I'm saying? So let me just play a couple of parts of this.
Oh, yeah, by the way, the real reason that Travis Hunter chose to go to Jackson State is reportedly, you know, Barstool Sports, who Deion Sanders works for, is going to pay him to be an ambassador, somewhere 7-figure deal. Okay. Problem with that is that they have a stake in Penn Gaming. I don't even know how that goes over. But when you make a decision solely based upon money, you're usually making the wrong decision. And as people who give really good advice tell you, if you can make a decision based upon the next 3 or 4 years or the next 40 years. And I am a next 40 years sort of guy. You know, there is no name, image, and likeness true value to a player. It's just not. You know, that's just that. This is simply pay for play, which, again, if you're okay with that, you're okay with that. I'm not. But the argument was, hey, their name, image, and likeness has value. It doesn't have value until you actually play a snap. And it's going to have far less value if you play at an HBCU as opposed to if you play at one of the big boys. And if you think coaches don't matter far more so than anything else, I give you Deion Sanders laying in the number 2 recruit in the country. He doesn't go anywhere near. And the second Deion decides to leave and takes another job, he's going with him. That's what most do. That's why the coaches are more valuable. It's not close. So this isn't an anti-player rant. Accept that. So now we're doing hey, you're a white guy. You don't understand a young, talented black athlete changing his oral commitment the day of signing day to sign with Jackson State. I don't understand that. Like, I've played sports and covered sports pretty much my entire life. I actually know all about all this stuff. We're making it out to be about HBCUs. It's about Deion Sanders and a gob of money being thrown at a kid.
Gob of money being thrown.
And if anyone thinks, if anyone really, really thinks like you're better off going to Jackson State to play football as a cornerback than go to play at Georgia, Florida State, Texas A&M, you're certifiably insane, or you're just not worthy of any sort of realistic discussion because you can't take emotion out of it. Those schools have way more resources, far larger alumni bases, play at a much...
Now, I wonder why they got way more resources and all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because we support all of their stuff, and no matter what we say, how we make ourselves feel better and all of this stuff, we gladly support their stuff, and then we find reasons not to support our own. We find things to argue with each other about. You know what I'm saying? We want to prove that we can fit in with them. You know what I'm saying? Because our stuff just isn't good enough. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we are these terrible people. You know what I'm saying? Of course, apparently he's right. You know what I'm saying? It's a bad decision to go to an HBCU. Let me play some more, and then I'm gonna close out.
Good. Pleasure, man.
Pleasure.
Appreciate you joining.
And shout out to J.R. Smith who did something on HBCUs and trying to put it into the spotlight and put it together a documentary and stuff like that.
What's on your mind?
Questions. I've been doing a lot of stuff talking, and people have been asking me about, athletic programs and HBCUs. Where do you think the state of HBCU sports lie right now compared to where they were when you first started?
Well, it's certainly improved, JR, immensely, especially with the names now associated with HBCUs, people like yourself. But we still have a long way to go before we get to some of where the bigger programs are.
Coming to an HBCU provided me with so many more opportunities and resources that I probably would not have received from another school. And I think one of the main things with A&T, the reason why is because we're a family. So it's not just a teacher just helping you to, graduate and get on to the next level, but it's like a mother, like a father, like an aunt, like an uncle, really trying to help you matriculate, not just in your education, but just as a person as well.
On campus, I go to all of the games, so the football games, so many elements that go into the sporting events that it's just something that everybody has to experience while they're here.
The facilities have improved, but we still have a long way to go before we get to some of where the bigger programs are. But I think the main thing that we're looking at right now is indoor facilities, places where golf and tennis and baseball and softball can go when there's bad weather.
It's just the Aggie Dome. We're supposed to be getting this dome for the golf team and the softball team and baseball team, so we can share it on the winners and whatnot.
A lot of our non-revenue sports need a lot of love and a lot of attention.
When you say non-revenue sports, give us a better grasp of that.
When I say non-revenue, it means we don't charge for people to get into the games or watch the events. The revenue sports are football, and men's basketball, and women's basketball. Everything else is non-revenue. We need to do more in terms of their facilities, in terms of helping them out. And one way we can do that is just get the community involved and get some financial people involved in some of those aspects of helping our facilities.
This right here is the street where everybody tailgates on for homecoming. So this parking lot right here literally be full of cars and barbecues, cooking out. I think that's what's special about A&T. How can we continue to spread the word to bring in more funds and talent into these schools?
Their value in HBCUs. And you have to understand the history and the heritage of HBCUs, because there was a time when the white schools wouldn't educate our people. We got to continue to tell them the importance of HBCUs then and also now. Here, they're more than just athletes. They are our sons, our daughters. They're part of that African-American community. They're a part of our family. And so we're going to look out for them in ways that you can't measure.
We appreciate it, man. Thanks for
all right, yeah. So shouts out to J.R. Smith for that. What's going on, Truth 884, my brother. You know what I'm saying? So let me say this in closing. Yo, thanks, my brother. Thanks, my brother. I appreciate it. And I'll probably take this video down, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? But let me say this, it's no wonder how we got enslaved probably about going on the fourth time in the last 1,000 years. It's becoming more and more clear to me, because I see way too many black males talking about, oh, I can't wait for football season. There's nothing to do until football comes. What are you talking about? Right? Our communities are devastated, and we got time to sit here and watch somebody else's stuff. You know what I'm saying? And you could do whatever you want to do and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you can't do whatever you want to do, right? But if we're going to have this same energy, you know what I'm saying, and if we're going to dictate other people's lives, you know what I'm saying, there's some things you got to sacrifice, because the things that you like, oh, well, that's cool. That's not, that stuff don't get a pass, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have way too many black men who's supposed to be men that find reasons not to do what they have to do in the community. Black women that find reasons to extort the black community. Yo, all of this stuff, all we keep harboring is negative energy trying to suck off somebody else's thing, to give up the Negro Leagues, to get to the MLB, to prove that we are better than them. Who cares? I know I want my society the way that it is, and I don't care if it's better, worse. All that stuff is judged by the beholder anyway. That's just asking for validation. That's what we're doing. That's the cycle that we're stuck on. And yo, these same people who told you to shut up and dribble a couple of years ago is all good now. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't got nothing to do with taking a knee or none of that stuff. It has to do with innovation. How can we have time to do these things when we can't dispose of our own feces? You know what I'm saying? And I can say the same thing about me for even coming on here. You know what I'm saying? But I came on here just so, because I know, you know what I'm saying, if you listen to here, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be uncomfortable. I know a lot of people are like, I'll listen to it later, but I'll probably put it on private or take it down or something. You know what I'm saying? Yo, what are you willing to sacrifice? Like, do we really want to be free or not? Yo, is the Negro Leagues worth giving up so you can prove that you are just as good as anybody else? Really? The revenue that it generates to be rock stars amongst your own, to control your own destiny, is that really not good enough? Because I see a lot of us saying, you know, my people of all walks of life, you know what I'm saying, to allow everybody in. And I stay away from a lot of subjects because the stuff that I say will probably offend people, you know what I'm saying? And that's not my intention, to offend nobody, you know? But when I'm talking about this stuff, you know what I'm saying, it's the mindset that we have to develop. And I don't really care about, like, yo, the emotional side of it. You know what I'm saying? There's the system that is created is not an emotional thing. And you can't be dictated by your emotions. You can listen to them and be a part of it, and you don't have to give them up. But don't be controlled by it. See, that's why people know all they have to do is give us symbolisms and trinkets and just say, because they know we'll be satisfied with it. All I got to do is issue an apology. They already forgave me before I decided to apologize. They'll be right back in my stores. How you going to boycott Walmart for a month if you ain't willing to do what you got to do today, right now? If you ain't willing to drive the extra mile to the black store, or go to the black dentist, or work with a black business partner because you think somebody else's ice is colder. Other than that, we're just talking. You know what I'm saying? We're just complaining about it. And this YouTube, you could do that. You know what I'm saying? This is just a forum. And I put out what I want to put out and the message that I want to say. And I use my propaganda the way I want to use it. And I also get to meet people that is actually about it and willing to work and do something. But, you know, I got to question myself too. You know what I'm saying? Are we just on here just to talk or just to do it? Are we really about the action? You know what I'm saying? Because the first thing that roll around, the first event, the first thing, that distraction, we are glad to hop up on it and get up out of there. You know what I'm saying? And then give a bunch of reasons why it's okay. No, like, yo, I understand finally the truth about it. You know what I'm saying? Yo, and why this is so hard to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because the level of sacrifice that it takes doing everything. Yo, with this water thing, it teaches me that you have to do everything. You can't even put it out there and just do a half job and expect it to work out. You have to do everything. And if I don't do it, it won't happen. And even if I do everything, it still may not happen. You know, but that's only if I stop trying. You have to use every single ounce of energy, every thought, every action that you have. It takes nothing less. That's how people control the world. And in the position that we already in the negative. It takes every ounce of your energy. Yo, freedom is not just walking around being able to do what you want. It's controlling your own institutions, and that's work. And it's hard to take it away. And once you get it, you'll always have to do everything that you have to do to keep it. So yes, it matters every second of the day, everything that we do, every choice that we make, who we support, who we spend our money with, because we go to these jobs 8 hours, 12 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? Do you know how much energy and time and mental effort it takes away from you to create your own? You know what I'm saying? All that thought power, that thought energy and stuff, you putting it into somebody else's, you know what I'm saying, stuff, Yo, I appreciate that, Truth 884. And even I haven't, well, I ain't gonna say even I, because I'm no different from nobody else, but I haven't given that much energy either, you know what I'm saying? Or else I would have been accomplished it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really have to do so much stuff, and you know what I'm saying, like, put so much energy, and it's not just with the water thing, it's everything that you want to accomplish, you know what I'm saying? And it's so easy to let a distraction, because sometimes you want to relax, sometimes you want a distraction, but you in a position where there's think tanks, there's a system that is a system, so it doesn't have to relax. There's a mental process that's not emotional, or not a mental process, but there's a process that's not emotional. To make a business, do you know how much time and energy that it takes? And to accomplish the great things that we want to accomplish, do you not think that sometimes maybe you may not even get to see it? And are you still willing to do that if that's the case? Like, I don't understand the point of giving up, because, like, what else are we going to do? I was just banging on myself, because, like, what else are we going to do? Yo, it takes so much hard work to accomplish the goals, and even the little distractions. And we are all human. We always gonna definitely true at 884. Y'all keep me motivated, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's just so many things that we can do, and it's just the little things, and every single little distraction is a decision, you know what I'm saying? And that's just how crazy it is, the situation. We were born here. We're here now. You know what I'm saying? That's how crazy the situation is. Every single second has to be like, and that's just the people who are aware, because I'm not even talking to the people, because I'm not trying to save nobody. But even the people who are the greatest, you know what I'm saying, want to prove themselves capable to somebody else. And I don't understand it. When you are the standard, you know what I'm saying? You are the, if you will, the God body energy. And people get offended when I talk about a religion, or if I don't talk about a religion or ideology. But it's no disrespect to that religion or ideology, but the power is always within yourself. It's just the level of sacrifice that it takes to achieve the goal that you want to take. Like, seriously, like, yo, the crazy amount of sacrifice that it takes is just like, yo, I could talk about it all day. I mean, if you want to create a product, think about the amount of time that you have to study that product, the amount of money that you have to put in to create a great product, a good product. And we in a situation where people have think tanks to keep us in this situation, and they work harder than we do and respond with more urgency than we do. See, while they're in power, they will go to the Negro Leagues and pluck a Jackie Robinson out, because they know he will fit in. And there will be a million Jackie Robinsons. But and maybe I could be wrong, they're not going to support a black league that go and pluck out the white Jackie Robinson to integrate their league. And we wouldn't even have to do that. And that's the crazy part about this whole spooked out thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not about nobody's religion or whatever. It's if you let that stop you from being as great as you can be because you expect something to come and save you, then I do have a problem with that. You could choose whatever you want because I personally wouldn't force nothing on you. But don't turn around and complain about the situation. If we're going to accept some things and not accept other things, don't complain about the situation because that's what it takes, bro. Even if I was to go on vacation right now, there's 20 think tanks that would have came up with 100 ideas on how to slow us down. And I would have came back to the ADOS versus Pan-African argument. And that's just because I've been working every day for 20 years and I needed a week or a minute to clear my mind. That's how dedicated it is, man. That's how sick it is, you know what I'm saying? I wish it wasn't this way, but that's what pisses me off the most. Because it shouldn't be. But, you know, if a new movie come out, a new something come out, a new whatever come out, then our minds could just be so easily distracted and taken away. You know what I'm saying? I gotta know what the score is or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Holla at me if you're telling me what the score between Jackson State and whatchamacallit State. And even more importantly, holla at me about the curriculum that's in the institution. Are they teaching them Black and proudness? Or are they teaching them what is Black? It's crazy, man. Who cares when somebody else controls how you eat? And you're going to argue with me about what is Black? You're going to argue with me about all of these other things when it's people literally having think tanks about how to keep me from eating or controlling the resources to my food so I can only have a limited enough to keep me sustaining to go back to their job? To take what I do because we want to argue about rap and they create a whole industry out of it, or to take our athleticism and okay, they paid us 40 million, but you made this dude 10 billion. Because that's the same difference as getting $20 an hour from somebody else. You control none of it, including your damn water, even if you are mayor and city council in there of your own damn town. It's not none of these things. It's not your titles, what you call yourself, none of this. It's the mindset that you got. You know what I'm saying? It's the I can let myself be distracted. It's the I can be comfortable in this 1 minute. I can let my guard down for a second. Unfortunately, we can't. We haven't earned that privilege. Man, I don't know, man. I keep going, man. But I'm going to stop, yo. I'm going to get up out of here because I know the game probably over. Y'all probably good now. Y'all can listen to stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all nice and comfortable and stuff like that. Yo, the Negro Leagues, they was the greatest players, man. They control their own destiny. They didn't need to prove themselves to nobody. You don't have to prove yourself to nobody. You don't have to go to somebody else's college to get a connect because my brother is a good enough connect for me. And if you focus on cleaning up your community, well, focus on your brother and clean up your community. Because once you get your mind right, you ain't going to be opposed to making sure that this situation never happen again. This construct that's been constructed has been acted on and has been practiced. And now that we are complicit, and then we will relax and find a little bit of comfort in something that they offer us as a distraction from it for 10 minutes until we get off the field, or until we get off the court, or at least until our jumpers stop going in. Or until other people decide they want to take over our music and control the masters and all of this stuff. But you know what? Oh yeah, they did it to us. You know, what can we do about it? But we proved ourselves. We the best rappers. We the best football players. We the best Muslims. We the best Christians. We definitely proved ourselves. but at the expense of all of the Negro Leagues that we had. I understand what people are saying, but there's a lot of people with a white Jesus on their mantle. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people with a white God. You know what I'm saying? They might not say it, but, you know, if that's the image that you have up there, that's the image that you have up there. And to prove it to this image that you are good enough or better, I know I'm better. I ain't got to prove it. I'm a rock star. They fans know I'm the best. They try to come see us, but I charge them double. But no, I'm sorry. We got to be fair. We got to be right. But I wonder who that definition of fair and right is based off. Man, we accepted white education, or I'm not going to say white education, but the integrated education at the expense of black teachers, black schools. We accepted the challenge to prove ourselves better than them at the expense of our leagues. We proved that we are better surgeons than them at the expense of our hospitals. We proved that we are more devout at the expense of our religions. Because your religion is something that you do over and over and over that's supposed to give you food, clothing, shelter, protection, things to help you survive and to make sure your culture runs smooth. And our culture is not running smooth. But at least we proved ourselves, right? Man, let me get out of here, man. I'm going to let Dick Gregory have the last word for y'all.
And don't make the mistake that most of your mothers and fathers made. When I wake up in the morning, my prayers, and I thank God I woke up, the Ku Klux Klan woke up this morning. The drug pushers woke up this morning. I thank God that I made another 24 hours in the most vicious, nasty, hateful, insane nation that's ever existed with my wits, without hating, without being bitter, without being mean. And I thank God that I survived 24 hours in that type of atmosphere with the type of amusement and friendliness. And so I would say to young folks, don't be in a state of denial of the racism and sexism, but don't let that block you. Don't teach your children that you have to be twice as good as a white. That's an awful thing to teach your child. Mm-hmm. That's like saying because you're black, white America has a right to change your dollar for 94 cents. But we used to get 50 cents, and before that we used to get nothing. Young folks have to say, we don't want more change for $1. Excuse me, we want a full dollar's change for $1, or this cash register will never ring again.
Yes.
I would also like for young blacks to understand that about 83% of all employment happen with small businesses. And excuse me, if you don't have a small business, then you have nobody to work for you. And I would say to young blacks, get into entrepreneurship. We will never catch up with white America till we get into business, because there's a thing called tax write-offs. And if you have a job and come together, 10 of you, and open up a corporation and have somebody run it, you hire somebody to run it, but you have tax write-offs. 98% of people that fly first class on airplanes would not be there if that wasn't a write-off. And yet, On that first class, they gave away last year $800 million, almost $1 billion of free whiskey. But if a welfare mother asked for some apple juice for the baby, she's laughed at. And so I would say entrepreneurship, and then understand that we will never survive as a group until we get into communities and not neighborhoods. A community is, I control the police, the banks, the schools, the firefighters, and I control the flow of the money. And I have no problem when I go in a Jewish neighborhood and the shop owners are Jewish, and I go into an Italian neighborhood and shop owners are Italian. I have a problem when I come in a black neighborhood and the shop owners is not me. A Korean has a right to come in and buy my shop for $30 million more than it's worth. That's good business. But if we decide that we're not going to do business with that boy, then he'll have to sell it back, or she'll sell it back to a black person for $1 million. And then the money circulates, and that's how you change. We've been so busy dealing with the hurt and the pain and the misery and glamorizing a handful that have made it, that we have never really looked at, like they say, your role model. If you haven't got a role model in your house, you should fall on your knees and pray to God, because something is wrong.
Yes.
And so I would say to young folks, it's not about alcohol, but it's hard for me to say that to you when a 5-year-old got to reach past mama's beer and papa's wine to get some mayonnaise. I would also say to young folks that the number one drug that will wipe you out is not cocaine, it's not heroin, it's marijuana. And they deliberately make that a recreation drug, but it stays in the muscles, it stays in the blood, and it will wipe out your memory bank. And also, this is the first time in the history of TB that TB has always been known as poor folks. It's the first time that TB is not running rampant in the ghetto. It's running rampant in middle income white America, because it's the marijuana that they spray, and that's no accident. And so I would just say to young folks, you have to reevaluate everything you've been taught. I would say to the black folks that just because a black person is 90 years old don't mean they have wisdom, and you need to listen to them, because if you was dumb and stupid when you was 9, you dumb and stupid when you 90.
Yes, if you don't have if you don't have a role model in your home, then there's a serious problem and something is definitely wrong. And it's not about how they treat me, whether their cash registers ring. I want my cash register ring, so it's not ringing. How about that? Because I want mine to ring, so I ain't worried about theirs no more. I want the Negro Leagues to cash registers ringing. And when I say Negro Leagues, I ain't just talking about sports, right? In every aspect of life. So it's not about how they treat us, about whether because if they nice to me and they smile in my face, they cash register still ain't ringing, because I'm going to my brother's store, because our cash registers is ringing. Ours is too busy ringing to let theirs ring. From diapers, safety pins, oil in my car, tires, computers, video games, microphones, everything. And then I'll come watch the game with y'all. How about that? But as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're going to keep falling for anything.